My name is Johnston, and I'm from Vancouver. And I play for the men's field hockey team, and I played defense. Yeah, that's a tough one. There's a couple really big moments in our careers on the men's field hockey team here where we qualified for Rio in dramatic fashion, and being in Rio itself was pretty incredible. And I think if I was to point to one instance that really stands out, it would be qualifying for the Olympics on home soil last October, or in 2019 now. So yeah, we had a series against Ireland, and that was here at home in Vancouver, in West Vancouver, and we had an awesome setup, and the whole community came out. There were a lot of people there supporting us, and the way the games went down, it made it pretty exciting. I ended in a 6-6 draw over 2 games and then into a shootout. So that was pretty cool to be a part of. And when we came out on top, the feeling was incredible. And I don't think anything else tops that. When I was younger, I remember watching Olympics back to the 2000 Olympics. So when I was 7 years old, I have this super clear memory in my head where I was watching the men's triathlon, and I remember watching Simon Whitfield come from behind to win that gold medal, and being the most inspired 7-year-old in the country, maybe. So I remember watching that very clearly, and it was such an incredible moment. And I guess from that point forward, I remember watching the Athens Games, and then more specifically the 2008 Games, where the men's field hockey team was competing. And at that time, I knew some of the players that were playing. I was still too young to be a part of the team, but I had some coaching from those guys, and had grown up watching them as I was playing field hockey. So it was really cool for me to wake up at 2, 3 in the morning and watch these field hockey games, seeing a bunch of guys that I knew personally on TV competing at the highest level. And I remember one time I was at our family home, and I was yelling and screaming at the TV at 3 in the morning, and my mom came down and started to get mad at me because I was making too much noise in the middle of the night. And yeah, so that's another moment where I was like, oh man, I see these people that I know every day, and people that really inspire me, and they're doing their best at the Olympic Games. I mean, maybe I can do the same. So that was another point where I was like, oh, this is possible. And then looking forward after that, one of the guys on the 2008 team, who's actually still on our team now, is Scott Topper, and he was at one of these events that we hold often, which is kind of the national team engaging with the community and doing a skills session with kids. And so I was there as part of my youth team, the Vancouver Hawks, and I remember talking to Scott after the game, after the skills session, and a small kid came up to Scott and asked for his autograph. And I remember Scott looking over at me and saying, hey, well, you should get this kid's autograph too, because he'll be here one day. And so it's just moments like that where some of the leadership in the country and the role models that we have kind of pushed me in that direction, and gave me the inspiration I needed to really push for it myself. Yeah, it's been tough, and a lot of times where I rely very heavily on my girlfriend and my family, and they help me get through times when I'm frustrated or feeling helpless and stuff like that. So first off, having an amazing support network around me, that's incredible. Next off would be just maintaining a balance. So I'm really lucky. I have a job that I can maintain from home, and throughout that process, they've been incredibly supportive of me and my goals, and so they've been able to allow me to work kind of part-time, making my hours up where I need to, and so they've been incredibly supportive as well. And then having that balance between life, work, hockey, and all that stuff just means that I can kind of take my mind off of COVID and the stresses that come up with that, which is inevitable. So yeah, I've been lucky, but also just privileged to be in a position where I have that support network, and being able to throw myself at work when I need to, and throw myself at hockey when I need to. Yeah, so I guess the other part to that question would be when we were in full lockdown, I like to run, so that's a benefit. I like to get out and just go for jogs. It helps kind of clear my head, and is a benefit physically as well. So I've been doing that a bunch, going trail running. We actually have a puppy here at home, so taking him out for walks and hikes has been a really good part of my COVID strategy in terms of staying mentally sharp. So yeah, all of those things together have actually really helped me through the good days and the bad days, which I'm sure everyone has. So to me, it's all about community. So something that we talk about on our team is how do we leave the jersey in a better place. So one thing that I like to think back to whenever I'm pulling my jersey over my head before a game is all the other people that have done it before me and the people that potentially will do it in the future. And so thinking back to the community of field hockey players that we have and other Canadian Olympians and other sports, I mean, it's such an awesome group of people and an amazing network of skilled individuals. And so I am feeling very humbled to be a part of that as I pull the jersey on and as I represent Canada. So it's about feeling part of a bigger family, part of a bigger community, and how do you relate back to the community that helped you grow as an athlete when you were younger. The opportunity to compete, honestly, and the games will be different in a lot of ways, and the experience will be different in a lot of ways, but I think when it comes down to it, it's still the best tournament in the world for us. It's the pinnacle moment of our sport, so we have a chance to compete against the best teams in the world and prove ourselves against the best players in the world. So for us, we're excited to maybe make a couple upsets, and as one of the lower ranked teams, we want to overachieve, and that's what I'm looking most forward to. So seeing the guys perform at their best at the best tournament that they'll ever play in is what I'm looking most forward to. So yeah. So our team has a pretty cool tradition actually, where we really like to kind of get hyped as a team, and we have a couple songs that we go to that are kind of our go-to songs that really get the guys going, and they're not necessarily the best songs in the world, but they're just that song that everybody knows, everyone gets really hyped to. So for us, we use a song called Tsunami, and it's just an electronic song, and it's the typical electronic song that builds up and gets pretty intense. But one thing that we do is the whole team kind of gets into it. We start smashing stuff and jumping around and just making a lot of noise, and everyone kind of riles each other up, and it's pretty funny. And we've done it a few times before games, sometimes after a big game when we're celebrating, and it really gets everyone fired up on the same level. So it's really cool to see, and it's super fun. So yeah, that's the song.